Hi there, this is Dr. Embuddy with Project 10. This project we'll be using a couple of classes that we created, the card and the deck class. This is just like what you used in the previous lab. There you did the game of war. Here we're going to do a solitaire game. There's like a gazillion different solitaire games. We've just picked one. And one confusion that some students have with this kind of assignment is they think they're having to build like the artificial intelligence to play the game. No, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're building a project that really is just going to enforce the rules of the game so that a user can play the game. And in the assignment, we give you a link to this World of Solitaire.com. If you open it up and you choose the Aces Up game, it looks something like this. Now, in the world of solitaire, there's some terminology that you need to know. So the deck of cards that you have is called the stock. That's not drawing very well. Let's see if we can do this a little better. Let's try a different color here. Let's see if white works here. There we go. So your deck of cards is called the stock. This part is called the tableau. And over here is called the foundation. And the object is to move cards from the tableau into the foundation, and there's a certain set of rules here. And then when we run out of moves, then we take things from the stock and move them into the tableau. So what we're going to do is we're going to have functions moving from the tableau into the foundation. Deal, right? And then we also have a function that moves cards within the foundation. All right. So that's this is a somewhat simple game in terms of the rules that we have, and let me actually let's actually play this game. So the rule is that you can move any card if there's another card of the same suit that's visible, or it's at least on the top here. So for example, I've got a 4 of diamonds and a 9 of diamonds. If I click on the 4 of diamonds, it moves into the foundation. And now these are all the same suit, so there aren't any 2 cards of the same suit, so I can't move any. All right, and so when a deal deals exactly 4 cards. And again, so okay, King of Hearts, there's no other hearts. Clubs, there's no other clubs. But look at this, we've got a couple of diamonds. So with the 3 and the king, if I choose the king, I choose the 3 because the king is bigger. The 3 moves to the foundation. Now I've got an empty spot in my tableau. I can move any card into it. Like for example, I can move the ace in here. And now I have the ace and the 7 that are visible, so I can move that 7 there. And similarly here, I can move the king to here, and now the 9, and then I can move that king over. All right, and I can't do any more moves because they're all different suits. And so you keep playing this way. Again, here's a 6 and the 10, the jack and the king. And I can move the ace because of the 10, And now I can move the king, and I get the ace in there. And as you can see, so the goal of this game is to get all the cards into the foundation, but we'll be left with the 4 aces, hence the name Aces Up. So this game ends when there's 4 aces here and the stock is empty. Okay, so just because you have 4 aces doesn't mean you won. You have to have 4 aces and all the other cards have been moved. So your stock is empty, and all the other cards except for the aces have been moved over. All right, so let's take a look at this game. So we have a standard deck. So as we had before in the lab, we have the card class and we have a deck class. And the deck is actually initialized using a list comprehension. So what is a deck? It's just a list of cards. And the cards have the attributes that are, in this case, just the suit and the rank. Okay, because we don't have this notion of cards being face up or face down. All right. So we give you we give you something to start with. We do import cards, and the way we do the testing actually is that we keep changing that card deck, but we keep calling it cards.py. And in fact, what we do is to control the play of the game, we actually have changed the init not to be a standard deck of cards, but a set of cards that have specific values in a specific order. So when you're dealing, we get a consistent play with that, and then we'll turn the we'll turn the shuffling off ourselves for that. So now let's actually go back, because one of the things that's interesting here is that what are the data structures that we're going to use. So if I go back to this game and let me start it back in the beginning. So what did the init do? The init dealt 4 cards. All right, but what are the data structures that I'm dealing with here? Well, the stock will be a deck, just like out of our deck class. All right, so that's pretty easy. That's given. The foundation, this will just be a list. Okay. And so I just keep adding cards to my list. Just keep stacking them up there. And then the tableau, this will be a list of lists. Right. Whereas I keep adding cards on, as the cards get built up, that will be adding on to the list. So when I take a look at this and I actually play the game, what I'm doing is when I move a card, like move this 3, I will pop it off of that list and append it onto the foundation list. When I deal, I'm appending onto each of these lists, and I do it for each list. And so these lists grow down. I'm not actually playing here. I'm just showing how these are lists, right? So I have 4 lists, and they keep going down. And when I want to remove something from a list and place it someplace else, like for example, what do I do with this? I can move this jack to the foundation. I can just simply pop it off this list and append it onto that list. And then I need to check Like suppose I say, well, let me move, let me move this card. Well, I can't move this to the foundation because there isn't another heart that's larger than it. And same thing with this one. I can't move that one, but I can move the 2 because there was a 5. And the same thing, I can move the queen because there was a queen. But what is that action of moving? It's pop off of this one, append onto that one. All right, so with that in mind, let's take a look at one of our functions. And what we've done here is we've divided these functions up into 2 parts. So when we want to move a card to the foundation, we also have a validate. So first thing we will do in my move to foundation is I will call the validate function. That is this guy. All right, see, I'm moving a card from the tableau into the foundation from this particular column. And so, what I need to do then is look at the tableau and that from column and see whether that's a valid move. And if it's a valid move, then I will, in fact, move it. And what we find is that each one of these functions will actually be just a few lines. So, we got to put our doc string there, and we'll get rid of our pass. I'm still finding some passes around on projects, but they're harmless, but they do clutter things up. So first thing I did is I said I need to call my validate function. And how do I do that? Well, it's going to return some kind of a Boolean. I'll call it valid. And that's a call to the function. All right. So that I'm using the tableau that passes in. I'm using the from column that passes in. All right, so now I can say, all right, well, if that is equal to true, or alternatively, instead of writing it that way, since I can just say I could also do it that way. If it's true, now actually move a card from tableau to the foundation. All right. And how do I do that? Well, I could pop a card from my tableau. All right, and so what does pop do? Pop removes the card from tableau and returns it, and then I can assign that I can assign that to a card because that gives me a card. And then what do I want to do with that card is I want to take it, append card onto my foundation. And notice a couple of things here that we have done. First of all, I called my validate move simply using these 2 values. All right, and then this was true or false, and our rule is that if the move isn't allowed, then I don't do anything. And so if it is valid move, and I have to write the code in there to check that, then I will pop it, which gives me a card, and then I take that card and I append it onto my foundation. So these functions now end up being pretty similar. All right, and same thing with moving within the tableau. Okay, there's a validate move, corresponding validate move there. And then you check the for a win, you got to examine both the stock and the tableau. And in the okay, so now how does the main go? Well, what we're doing in the main is we're saying things like, okay, I want to move this card to the tableau, and how do I do that? Well, I will specify the column 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to take something from tableau column 4 and move it to the foundation. And we can see this with my, the set of options that I have is I can deal one card to each column. I can move something to the foundation. And so what do? I specify a column and this command. And then I can move things within the tableau, again, from column X to column Y. I can restart the game after shuffling, and I can display these choices, or I can quit the game. So there's really, effectively 3 things for us to do here. So I get an option. I see what the option is. I have to parse that option. Oh, if it's a D, it doesn't have X's or Y's. If it's an F, it has an X. If it's a T, it has an X and a Y. So I do have to parse that out, and then I call the appropriate function. So for example, if I've said F and I specify a column, well, this is moving a card from the tableau to the foundation. So I'm moving it to the foundation. I give it my tableau, my foundation, and the from column, oh, that's just the X. So that's what your main function does, is it looks at the options, what did the user type in, and you call it the appropriate function. All right, hopefully that gives you enough to get started with this. Good luck.